right, here's a little magic show on buildings. Here's what I'm shooting for right here is a light gray building coming up here, and we'll try to see what we can get done. All right, so there's a few tricks with buildings. Main thing is only using bright brushes. Small bright brush, large bright brush. That's about it. And so to get like a clean edge, so clean edges are one of the biggest parts. With this, melt the kit a little bit, all nice and lubed up. And then if you're a little bit shaky, you know, see it's a little bit further back. Like further back you go, the steadier it is. So see how the brush is shaking? But once it hits the ground or the canvas, nice and steady. Be a nice clean edge. Now with this clean edge, it's like one brush stroke. So we gotta like hide that one brush stroke by going back into it, and adding multiple brush strokes to it. So here's one brush stroke. I'm gonna go in, change color quite a bit. So this is a gray building, but I'm gonna have like white, brown, black, a lot of different things. And the key with buildings is you don't want to have any brush strokes showing. So with that, what I mean is, you're going to come back in with like a paper towel. I'll show you how to do that here in a second. So here, I'm going to go back over this a little bit. And you take a small towel like this, get it wet, wring it out, and then now just kind of dab it a little bit and smudge it. So you shouldn't see the brush strokes when you're done. It should be kind of like a mysterious, like how in the hell did they do that? So that's kind of the technique we're going for. You don't want to look like a sponge. So, kind of like wiggle it around a little bit. With the other sides, like for the clean edge here, you want to cut into the clean edge. So all I like to do is like to turn the canvas a little bit. Can't really see that yet. Hold on one second. There we go. So to get that, I'll like come in here, I push up into the edge I want. So like right here. So I squish down and pull down nice and easy. I have my pinky right here, so it's like a guard or something. And the straighter you go with the brush stroke, the more perpendicular you go to the canvas, the better it's going to be. And so this is going to be one layer here. I'll go a little darker on the bottom, a little more contrast once again. Small, smooth brush strokes. And clean that up a little bit. On the bottom, see like right now it's a little bit of a hard edge. So what I'm going to do now is take that and clean that up. A little bit of a dark edge. So right here it's going to be a shadow underneath. Once again, like get that clean edge. Pinky on the bottom right here. Get a nice little balance to it. And clean edge all the way across. So now it's got a little bit on the jiggly side. So what I'll do is I'll blend it out. I'll add a little bit of brown to it as well. You can see the brown in there. Even though this is a gray building, as long as I change colors quite a bit, I'll add a little bit of white to it. And come back in with a small bright brush. And I go different directions. In general though, you want to go to the vanishing point. It's a 1 point perspective, however. So this is going to go straight across or up and down brush strokes. And then once you have these brush strokes down, I'll clean this edge up as well. Perpendicular to the brush or the canvas. And I'll use a paper towel to clean up these brush strokes. So right now you can see all the brush strokes. So kind of like rookie maneuver, right? So now I'll take the paper towel, lube it up with a little bit of water, and I'll come in here and I'll like dab it a little bit. Get rid of the brush strokes. Not enough where it looks like a paper towel. So you kind of like scumble a little bit, tap it, scumble, what have you. Now you can kind of see that rough edge there. So here, The next phase I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a little bit of an edge. Light sources on this side. So this side's going to be a little bit darker. Mix up a little bit of black and brown. Pinky here on the side. And do a nice clean edge. Even if it's not perfect, don't use tape, whatever you do. Tape is like the worst thing you can use. Like clean edges. It looks too fake. So you'd rather be like a little imperfect and have the edges kind of clean rather than having like too perfect where it looks like it's done by tape. And I'm going up and down this way, small strokes though, or sideways. That would be a nice little base texture, base coat. I'll take the little paper towel, wad it up again, get some texture in there. And we have that. On this side over here, I'll show you that. So the base coat, after the base coat's done, instead of painting like this, is the side of the brush. You can get some like cool textures in there by using the side of the brush, having some of the paint come off, but not a lot. And right now it looks like a palette knife technique, but we'll hide that in a little bit with a towel, wet towel. All right, so now you can see the texture on there. I'm gonna take the wet paper towel, dab that out a little bit, cleans up the edges, gets rid of the brush strokes. So once again, you can't tell exactly how it's done. Then over here, I'm gonna clean up the edges here as well. So all I can do is like squeeze the brush, milk the kitten technique, and clean up the edge here. I'll get a little bit of a highlight on the top. Use like pure white on top with the dirty brush. And same thing on top over here. So it's all about contrast, like having like light to dark again. Then on the side over here, I'll do is a little bit of a glaze. So glazes will really help you guys out with make it a little different. A little bit of a sponge. So I'll do the bright brush again, rinse it off. I'm doing burnt umber, a little bit of black, a little bit of a sponge, small sponge. And I can have it like cheat a little bit, get some of it done with the brush. Then take the sponge and like drag it down. And drag it down, shimmy it a little bit. Watch it shimmy. So I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit. Same thing on this side. So that's kind of an aged look to it. That's after a base coat. Over here on the top part, same thing. I'll cut in here with a little bit of a dark value. Right now it looks terrible. Big strokes. But with a sponge, come up to the top of it and blur it out. This is the dark part, so I can even go a little bit darker if I wanted to. And it's all about glazes and layers. So it's like went from that to this. Now I'll come in here a little bit, do more of the side brush strokes or random side action here. Take the sponge and drag this out as well. This is the dark side of the building, so I'm going to go a little bit darker here. A little more burnt umber, a little more black. And once you have your base coat of gray, it'll really help it out quite a bit. Okay, so then like that section's almost done. With the windows, the casings on it, I think I'll probably use like a small round brush. Let's see if I can get a small round brush. Kind of like this right here. It's a pretty good one. And then I'll get that kind of straight. And take the little highlight on here. I'll go a little brighter, a little more white. And then I just kind of clean up the edge here. On the bottom, same thing. We'll clean the rest of that up with the window in a second here. But the window is kind of important to make sure that you have like a nice clean edge on the bottom. So right now it's kind of like chalky, right? So now I'll come in here, I'll rinse off the brush, melt the kitten a little bit. I'll do a little burnt umber and black underneath, a little bit of shadow underneath. More of a three-dimensional look to it. And kind of clean up the edges. And on the side over here, next to the light source, I'm gonna go into more of a white and clean that edge up. A small round brush, I should do windows here in a second, but with a small round brush, I can add a little more texture to it. So I can go in a little more of a lighter value. And I'm letting the brush kind of hit on the side here a little bit. So I'm not actually painting, I'm not going like this. Using the side of the brush, and getting a little bit more of a texture to it. Don't take a sponge, and I'll get rid of that texture, just enough so you can barely tell what it is. Okay, so now I'll go back in, clean up the edge. Boop, boop, boop. And with the sides of the brushes, when you use these, for the texture, it's like a lot of different layers on there. So you want to have like continually layered up, dark to light, light, medium, different values. Then take a sponge and soften it a little bit. So when you're done with the building, it should look like it took you about many different layers, not just one. And that's it for now. So then I'll show you windows here in a little bit. So the next phase I'm going to show you guys how to do is windows coming up.